what I'm seeing is not good news. If you measure our performance, I don't see this as good news. I have the amount of drugs being seized, which is an indicator of how much is available to us, the best indicator that we have, has never been higher than it has before. Price on the street is as low as it was for some drugs back to 2004, which was a large smuggling year, especially for methamphetamine. The violence from 2007 up until now, it has been incredible. And it's been in spurts, but at least below Arizona, the level of violence is not only high, but the type of violence is horrific, what is being caused down there. Things that I don't think people could ever possibly imagine is being done in terms of torture and murder and disappearance at all different levels. I can't explain it because I think that they make Al-Qaeda look tame in terms of what they do. And I can't explain how someone loses their humanity and resorts to these things. I mean, becoming butchers, systematically and methodically torturing people for long periods of time, leaving narco messages on headless bodies. Those drug cartels, especially the Sinaloan cartel, I believe, at any given time, outman the military and the police, have more money than they do, and have the will, and are not limited by any humanitarian restrictions to take over the government if they wanted to.
And what did you think when you heard about the car bomb that went off in Juarez, and there was another one after that in another city? What did that say?
That said to me that they're willing to go the limit in terms of making an example. And this is all almost a counterintelligence move. This is to tell the Mexican public that we will do anything because we can do anything. And if you oppose us, we can spread out and exert and place our violence wherever we want to place it at. And that's terrorism. That's terrorism, and that's exactly the definition of terrorism.
Some have used the phrase narco-insurgency to describe what's going on. Do you agree with that?
I agree to a point. I agree that in most parts of Mexico, especially northern Mexico, where there's the lucrative drug trafficking routes, that armed paramilitary groups of each organization control that territory, not the Mexican government. We see the Sinaloan cartels solidifying power, not losing power, but solidifying power. We're seeing the Zeta organization on the Gulf Coast side now attacking cities like Monterrey. There is little or no control outside of the cities. Even within the major cities like Ciudad Juarez, there's hardly any control. The problem is that outside, in these little villages, the traffickers have taken over most of these villages, especially villages that are in strategically located corridors for their human and drug smuggling activities. It's about control. Control within their own cartels, trying to control territories in which they use, and controlling the politics. The way Mexico is run is what their goal is. A state free for them to move drugs through, and that's the goal. Their survival and their flourishing as almost an empire, a drug empire. The amount we're seeing in the United States could be into tens of millions of pounds of marijuana that are moving into the United States without being seized. We see somewhere between 3 million and 4 million pounds total in the United States of marijuana. And that may represent only 20% of what's actually coming across. Methamphetamine right now, we have never seen the levels of methamphetamine that we've seen before. Heroin is almost tripled in the amount, astronomical the amount of heroin that has been coming across the southwest border. Americans should care about that because there's a demand side and a supply side. And I'm only talking right now about the supply side which is one factor of the equation. We're just as responsible in the United States for the demand side and taking care of that. We have not in the United States treated drug abuse and drugs, alcohol and substance abuse as a public health issue. We've treated it as a law enforcement issue, and we need to flip that around. There needs to be more investment in the public health side in treatment and prevention, because our demand helps create this situation in Mexico.